Welcome, everyone. First of all, this is the October 20th, 2025 monthly meeting of the East Norwalk Neighborhood Association. My name is Diane Cece. I'm on the board. I currently serve as president. We also have board members and advisory board members, Charles D. Bisegli, Roberta D. Bisegli. I never see the whole list here, but I believe Sarah Hunter and George Hensinger, I think, is on as well. We actually haven't met in a bit. We took an extended, not only an extended summer break, but we took a break from some regular monthly meetings while things were relatively quiet, and managed to do communications over email newsletters and in public meetings as well. But now we are resuming our monthly meetings. We are still meeting via Zoom. And at this point, we'll be continuing to meet the third Monday of every month, and continuing with our newsletters as well. I just want to run through the agenda quick before we welcome some guests that we have. We have some announcements, talk about a couple of public hearings coming up, and then our guest speakers. And then under current business, if time permits, we can do some updates on some rapidly changing hot topics in East Norwalk that have all come up or been updated in the past month or so. Okay, so first of all, under announcements, there was a traffic authority meeting earlier today. They meet on the same third Monday of the month that we do, but they meet at 4:00 in the afternoon, and they issue their agendas late in the week before. But on that agenda was a proposal from the city's Transportation, Mobility, and Parking Department for the proposed Cemetery Street parking plan, meaning the new lane of parking that's parallel parking on Cemetery Street, but also some parking on the lower portion of East Avenue alongside the development, and also some future parking on the eastern side of Gregory Boulevard, across from the cemetery. And just want to share with you on that ENNA, I was able to hop on there today to share some concerns that I won't rehash here, but we all know our concerns with both the development and that parking there. But we did raise a concern about the fact that the Transportation, Mobility, and Parking is looking to have 2-hour parking there from 8 to 6, which is essentially going to make sure that spaces aren't hogged by commuters during the day, and rather could be for people supporting our businesses in the local area. But they hadn't come up with anything that would propose not having those parking spaces available overnight and on Saturdays and Sundays for the development itself. And most folks will recall that this was one of our major concerns with this development, was that they were not providing enough on-site parking for their needs, and that the proposal for the reduction down to 1 lane on Cemetery and the addition of the parallel parking was intended not so much as traffic calming and to get a bike lane in there, but more so to accommodate the needs of the development. And in fact, I can tell you that the TMP engineer who presented to the authority today actually said that their plan was developed in conjunction with the Department of Transportation, because that's Route 136, but also collaborating with Spinnaker, which is the developer of the property. So in any event, I'll cut to the chase on this, and there'll be more in an email update that we'll send out. But there really was kind of a showstopper as after the presentation of this plan. Mayor Rilling, who actually chairs the Traffic Authority and the Police Commission, actually raised the point that the actual redesign of Cemetery Street, the reduction of the lane and the parking and the new traffic rotation there, had not actually come before the Traffic Authority formally, and it needs to do that. And he also polled the other commissioners who sit on that authority, and they too also shared that this was the first that they were hearing about that, in a formal presentation. And so the mayor and the commissioner suggested then that they actually table this item and have the Transportation, Mobility, and Parking Department come back at a later date, presumably next month, and actually present what the redesigned plan is that's already been advanced without the authority's permission. So that was actually kind of a showstopper there, and I was glad to hear that. It hadn't occurred to me either that through the past 3 years, no one had bothered from the city staff to actually get the permission of the traffic authority. The other thing that came out of that may be good news as well is that the mayor said that in addition to the motion to table this, he did say that if he wanted the commissioners to know that if it was ultimately approved, future authorities would have an option to revert back to the existing road model there. So I think that's something that is welcome news. At least that the doors aren't closed on that. Okay, and then as another reminder here, there's a multi-neighborhood association mayoral candidate Q&A forum that's coming up on Sunday, the 26th. It's going to be held from 5 to 6:30 p.m. at the First Congregational Church on the Green. This is collaboration between East Norwalk Neighborhood Association, the Norwalk Green Association, Wall Street Neighborhood Association, and the City Hall Neighborhood Association, and in collaboration with Nancy on Norwalk, who's one of their board members. Mark Burns is going to be the moderator. I think this is one of the last public events as a forum for all 4 of the mayoral candidates. And so we're urging people to attend that. Some more information on that, although it's been in your email from this weekend as well, because I believe this is also going to be on Zoom. And so if you'd like to participate or at least watch and you're unable to make it on Sunday the 26th, then you should be able to link in on Zoom. And then all of the neighborhood associations and Nancy on Norwalk will also post a video for that. Okay, and then a couple of important public hearings that are coming up this week, actually tomorrow night. The city's ordinance committee of the Common Council is holding 2 public hearings of importance to us. One is the residential parking permit program. Most folks are familiar with the fact that East Norwalk and other pockets in the city have been asking for, I think, 5 years now for the city to work with us to develop a program for residential parking to provide some relief for our neighborhood pockets and streets that don't have adequate parking and are kind of overrun by new development, illegal apartments, contractor trucks, etc. The public hearing under ordinance, though, is not to define the program itself. It's the ordinance that gives legislative authority to the Norwalk Parking Authority to actually draft and implement a residential parking permit program. So this is the enacting legislation that allows them to do that. ENNA will be speaking at this, and one of our concerns is that we want to make sure that even though the Norwalk Parking Authority is an autonomous authority, that they are engaging a broad range of stakeholders in the city as an ad hoc committee to work through this, and that they're collaborating with other city departments such as the police department when they do a draft program and presumably a beta test site to actually test this out. So there was some links on that and information in the email, and we'll continue to update. If you're interested in this, I know there's a lot of streets in East Norwalk where this is going to be relevant. And if you're interested in this, and you don't necessarily have to speak, but if you might want to hop on to the public hearing tomorrow, get some more information from the presentation. And then you can also then be prepared for when the Norwalk Parking Authority takes this up. Then another public hearing is updating the city's existing tree ordinance. This has been a hot topic lately. It's a number of pages long. It's mostly red line edits to the existing ordinance that help to tighten up the process for how trees are managed, designating specific trees in the city as legacy trees based on different criteria, and also making sure that we have better procedures in place for when a tree that's on city property would be slated to come down. And I think probably a lot of folks on here are familiar with what we're going through right now with the tree at the Gregory and Cemetery traffic circle there. So again, these are ordinance committee tomorrow night. I believe that is 6:30, but double check our on the city website and also in our email. Okay. And then we have some current business that if the time permits, we want to give some updates on Norton Place and Metro North Terminal. And if you're seeing our emails or you're reading news accounts, you'll know that the appeal that was filed to overturn the zoning commission was denied in the appeals court, Stamford Superior Court. So far, the Gregory Boulevard Cemetery Street oak tree status is still pending. The city engineers are working with the DOT engineers to try to come up with an alternative with a primary goal of saving the tree and managing the drainage project around doing that. And then we can also talk a little bit later about some of the controversial zoning applications that we're dealing with right now, and also Strawberry Hill Railroad, which I can only tell you there that the timeline there for the underpass to reopen, still from the Walkbridge folks, is sometime in October, but it's already the 20th, so I'm assuming it's sometime in the next couple of weeks. Okay, so without further ado, I'd like to introduce the first of our guest speakers. Hopefully everybody can see my screen. Our first guest speaker is from the Norwalk Police Department Community Policing, Officer Rawlin Amparo. If I'm mispronouncing your name, please correct me. Is that correct?
No, that's correct.
Okay. And he started his police career, and he'll give you some more of his background. We're going to talk a little bit about what he's doing with community policing. But Officer Amparo started his police career in 2015 with the Virginia Beach Police Department, patrolling a largely populated area, as you can imagine. He transferred to the Norwalk Police Department in 2020. And in fact, he was the first recruit sworn in by Mayor Rilling remotely during the pandemic. Since then, he's been working in the patrol division and now serves in community policing division. Officer Amparo is fluent in Spanish. He is ARIDE certified, which stands for Advanced Roadside Impaired Driving Enforcement. And he has received, as of this writing that I had, 2 different unit citations for Officer of the Month. He is a native New Yorker and previously lived in Connecticut prior to Virginia. And our fun fact is that we were told he wields a mean tennis racket and has cat-like reflexes. This during the city's grassroots tennis and education camp youth victory, where the youths team up and face off with the Norwalk Police Athletic League. So that sounds like a lot of fun, and I hope the kids had great fun and enjoyed that and had some education with it too. So without further ado, I will stop sharing here and welcome Officer Amparo.
Yeah, Officer Amparo.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Diane. I appreciate the introduction. And
I'll also just add that you are off duty, and we appreciate that you're coming on off duty on your own time there. We do appreciate that. And we certainly welcome you at any of our monthly meetings that you're able to, that your schedule allows to permit you to attend. Thank you. Go ahead.
Yes, of course, Diane. Again, thank you very much for the introduction. I'm very excited and want to thank each and every one of you for the opportunity to talk to you. It's I told Diane a couple weeks back. I actually had no idea that ENNA existed. And I've been the community police officer for East Norwalk for about a year already. So I, immediately once I found out about it, I immediately emailed her, and she got back to me ASAP, and it was all good from there. So I'm here now. I am gonna definitely try to attend the meetings every third Monday of the month. I think it'll be a great opportunity to learn about different things that I'm not a part of. Like all the like the residential parking permit program. That's actually, I heard rumors about that. I didn't know it was if indeed it was gonna happen, but I see it's being talked about. So hopefully that goes through, because that'll be a plus for a lot of East Norwalk residents. And that's on me to go ahead and make sure that I enforce it. I don't know what's going on with the parking authority, and if indeed they're going to be able to enforce parking there in the area. But if they are not able to, then that's on me to go ahead and make sure that I'm taking care of that. But I'm pretty sure all of that is going to be, talked about and, drafted up. So we'll see how it goes in the future. But in the meantime, right now, as the community police officer in East Norwalk, what I'm doing is I'm focusing on parking. There's a lot of parking issues in East Norwalk, specifically the, Cove Avenue area. Always around the area of Cottage Street, East Avenue. There's a lot of parking issues there. So I definitely look at enforcing anyone who's violating those parking ordinances. I focus a lot on speeding as well. I do speed enforcement. I do traffic stops sometimes, and I usually stay in the hot areas, which is like Beach Road, Gregory Boulevard. um I try to stay around those areas. I try to go over to East Avenue and 95, where there's a traffic, like a intersection right there with where you're not supposed to be blocking the box, blocking the intersection over there. I remember the name of the street there, but I try to stay there, try to enforce that, make sure that everyone's able to get through when they're going through the intersection. So, and now I'm actually focusing on doing more of the actual community policing, which is speaking to everyone, going over to the places of worship, to talk to everyone there, see if there's any concerns in the area, or if anyone from the church has any questions. And of course, I'm also going down to the daycares, the daycares slash preschools, where interaction with children is amazing. It's a blessing to be able to go over to the schools and interact with kids, in a fun way where they feel safe at school, and then see the police. And I make it, a positive experience, rather than, me being on a traffic stop with someone and kids are in the back and thinking, oh, the police are bad because they stopped their mother or father, on the street. So I am also focusing on our elderly, over at the Marvin. I'll tell you this, a fun fact about the Marvin. I usually go over there on Friday evenings, and I play Wii bowling with them, and they are experts at that game. I cannot beat them at all. So so that's a fun experience. They know me well there. I love going down to the Marvin and interacting with our elderly. I'm going over to Ludlow Commons, trying to reestablish a relationship there with our elderly. And I'm still going around different places, different businesses. I have, huge, shoes to fill, with Bruce Lavallo, who was the last community police officer in East Norwalk. And, no one's going to compare to him. He was, yeah, for everyone that I talked to, Bruce was the best, and I don't think I can live up to that expectation, but I can try my best. So, but Bruce is great. I spoke to him the other day about it, and That's what I'm here for. Obviously, if anyone has any particular issues, quality of life issues, anything that of concern that's not an emergency, I'm pretty sure Diane has my my direct phone number where anyone can reach me. You can text me, you can call me, to let me know. As long as it's not an emergency. If it's something that needs immediate attention, you call the non-emergency number, which most of you probably have. And if it's an emergency, you dial 911. You don't call me. Okay, but I'm for whatever issues you may have, quality of life, parking, vehicles blocking driveways, abandoned vehicles, um, anything that it may noise complaints, loud music, things of that nature, speeding down roads. You can relay it to me, and I'll make sure that I get it over to our superiors and get our traffic unit involved as well if I'm not available to take care of it. But that's what again, that's what I'm here for. If you guys need anything, please don't hesitate to reach out. If you see me on the street somewhere in East Norwalk, please don't hesitate to, just say hi. I'm here to make sure that everyone has a great day when they're out in East Norwalk, and we're trying to make East Norwalk the best there is.
Great. Thank you so much. Oh, that was an excellent recap, and thank you so much. Just like logistically, are you typically like do you do shifts where you're sometimes here during the day and then other times in the evenings, or weekdays versus weekends, or is it pretty steady? And are you just East Norwalk proper, or like north of the highway and into Sono as well? When tipping, your typical beat, for lack of a better term.
So I'm sorry, I didn't mention that. So my schedule, it's a flexible schedule. So there's some days where I'm working, day shift in the daytime, and there's sometimes where I'm working in the night shift. So I don't have a set schedule, just working days. So I usually flex. So sometimes I'm working in the daytime, sometimes I'm working at night. So depending on what issues we have, like there's been some issues over at the shopping center over and across the street from Vets Park,
Mhm.
that had some issues with some loitering at night. So I would go over and work at night just to make sure there's no one loitering over there, or any issues. So, and then in the daytime, obviously, if there's any issues with speeders, or something to that effect, or just regular, speaking to the public, I'm usually working in the daytime. Unless there's something going on where I need to work nights, I'll go ahead and switch over.
Right.
Now, in regards to my beat, is it's I'm East Norwalk, so I'm usually all over East Norwalk. I I can't. That doesn't mean that I can't patrol over in South Norwalk or anywhere else, but my specific duty is in East Norwalk, so I'm usually there all the time.
Excellent. Yeah. Thanks. Yeah, and I'll mention too, because I didn't mention at the beginning, is that when Rawlin reached out to us and said I didn't know about you guys, and the first thing I said to him is we didn't know about you, because we actually didn't have we had someone in between Bruce. His name is escaping me, and I feel so bad, but I'll come up with it. But we also didn't know about you because at one time we were told that we weren't going to have a community policing officer again for a while. So when you told me that you had East Norwalk, I'm really really happy to hear that, because we think we need to have a relationship with the entire department, but with you in particular. One of our board members, I steal this from her, the in terms of traffic and speeding with all the infrastructure work going on, we call it the wild, wild west over here in terms of, people driving, and it's like every man for himself. And it's really dangerous. And I think the more gridlock there is and more congestion, the more road rage we have too. And that's pretty frightening. Um, I will say too that another thing you guys have been really responsive to as a department is the past couple of years we've had very aggressive solicitors, despite the city's pretty robust solicitation regulations where they have to apply for permits, and people have actually been frightened by some of the, and I'll say the name here, Frontier and other organizations. And the police department did step in to enforce that and actually revoke some of those licenses because, they were coming around like after dark and they were, banging doors and then trying to open doors if people didn't open them. And that's something that we saw, the police department really step up and help, a lot of us that were, no one wants to feel insecure in their home. It's a pretty
Absolutely.
scary feeling. Yeah.
Yeah, no, the solicitor program, they have a, that they have it pretty, squared away, in the sense that everyone needs their permits, they need their badges, things of that nature when they're going out. Now, we do get like emails or a notification of the companies that do not have a permit, or that had their permits revoked. Like, for example, when Frontier got their permit revoked, we all knew about it. So whenever there's anyone
Right.
out there, doing soliciting when they're not supposed to, obviously we take enforcement on that. But if they're in compliance with their regulations and everything they're
Right.
supposed to be doing, then it's okay. But if they're not in compliance, then we are taking enforcement on it.
Thank you. Do you have some time to take some questions and comments from the folks who are here? Oops, sorry. Yep, I think I lost you there. Do you have some time to take some questions?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you
Yep.
were asking
Okay.
everyone else.
Yep. No.
Yes, absolutely. I'll take some
Okay.
questions, of course.
Okay.
Hi, I'm on Emerson, and there's so many cars parked on both sides of the street. Like you can't, you have to drive down the middle of the road. And I'm sure most of the cars are for people that live here.
Mhm.
And it's dangerous. Like one guy had road rage at me one day because I was coming down the road and he's beeping and he wouldn't even move. He was just like plowing right through. It was really scary.
Yeah, it's almost like playing chicken out there. And
Yeah,
I'm sure that is not news. Emerson is one of the most reported, and it's one of the ones that we talk about it every time this topic comes up.
it's terrible.
Thanks, Loretta, because I think we have to mention it at every meeting so that it is top of mind.
They speed
Officer
and the
Amparo, do
parking.
you have? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead,
Sorry, they
Loretta.
speed and it's the parking. It's both.
Right, right, yeah. Another candidate for residential parking passes, Emerson, for sure.
Correct. So Emerson, I'm very rarely on Emerson. I usually go over there, if I'm cutting across to Winfield. But it's somewhere where I need to, focus on now. I know there's a couple no parking signs, but I believe it's allowed for vehicles to be parked on both sides, if I'm not mistaken.
Mhm.
I know it's very dangerous in the sense that I know cars fly down there, especially in the morning time when there's 95 is backed up and you have cars backed up on Winfield. They cut over to Emerson and then speed down to over to Gregory. And I know that's a problem. So I'm gonna go ahead and start going around Emerson, going around and just checking the signs, seeing how we can go ahead and make it better. I'll take a look at it and see what we can do to try to minimize the problem with the parking, because I know it is very narrow there, and then with cars speeding, it makes it very dangerous for the residents there.
Thank you. That would be very much appreciated.
Of course.
Okay, Jessie has her hand up.
Hi,
Hi,
I'm
Jesse.
Hi, everybody. Forgive me for
Hello.
being a little late, but I'm so glad that I was able to log on because I want to say thank you. How nice to be connected with our police officers.
Mhm.
Very welcome.
Yeah, we feel very, well, I can say I've been here a long time, and I could name on one hand, less than one hand, how many police officers I know by name.
Mhm.
And so I really appreciate you stepping up and making an effort to connect to us and know what's going on and ask our concerns.
Of course.
I wasn't going to raise my hand, but the talk of Emerson, I live on Branford Street, right off of Gregory Boulevard, the second block on the way to the beach.
Yes.
And I have seen multiple times recently, cars are looping around Cemetery because of the construction at One Cemetery Street. Folks get very frustrated because often there are these big trucks in the way, and so you can't make that right onto Gregory Boulevard heading towards the beach. So they get detoured up around Emerson. So I have to tell you, even when they don't get detoured, once they get that slow down and they're like, okay, I'm past it now, hit the gas, and they go flying. So they either turn around that corner onto Gregory like a bat out of hell, or they turn onto Emerson the same way. I think particularly for folks that are not familiar with the area, and then they get even more frustrated because you can't make the left on Strawberry Hill. So you're kind of stuck.
Yes.
And if you live off of Gregory, as I do, on the right side, closer to the pond, you have to go all the way up and around and back. And, and yes, it's really frustrating, but I see folks getting frustrating and driving erratically because getting frustrated and driving erratically because of it. So that doesn't help. And now today I saw that they have started the on-street parking in front of One Cemetery. So the cars were flying around there like, you got to be kidding me. People are not happy about that. So it's really become quite hazardous that, if you live on one of the first few blocks, after that turn, you're in trouble because cars they hit the gas. They just do. And they've been doing it for quite some time now. So I'm grateful to be able to share that because it's definitely a problem. I've seen people walking dogs almost get hit. I've seen people, it's been multiple occasions that I've seen, scary situations.
Thanks, Jesse. And
can I
I'm
just
sorry.
do one other thing real quick? Because it really makes me crazy. And I did get into an accident. And I've been here nearly 30 years. And it was my first accident ever.
Was it right there at that area?
I came out of Branford Street, my block, to make a left onto Gregory. And I got hit because when you come out of the block, there are signs that say no parking to here, on both sides.
Yep.
No one listens to those signs. And then even if they do, if it's a large truck or just a large vehicle, a tall vehicle, an SUV or what have you, you can't see around that corner. So I have to tell you, I used to have a taller Jeep and it was a little bit easier. I have a shorter car now. And I just inch out and say a prayer that somebody sees me on the left before I can make the full left myself. Bless you.
That was a cough, sorry.
As cars are coming either way, you just kind of cross yourself. We joke about it on my neighbors and I joke about it. Like you say a prayer, cross yourself and then come out of the block. And hopefully the people on either side will see you because you sure as heck can't see them. So, I mean, again, it like the parking on Emerson, it's legal to have the signs that, you know what I mean? So if you're parked right up to the sign, but it's not smart and it's not safe. And it's not just me, a lot of the neighbors all say, I go all the way around to First Street or all the way around, go out of my way. Well, we're doing that these days anyway, just to get out of the way of the construction near, at One Cemetery. But it's not good. It's not, it should be something that should be addressed, And Emerson,
Thanks, Jesse.
nuts. I pity Emerson folks. So sorry about that. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you listening.
Thanks, Jesse.
Of course.
Appreciate that. Yep, this is all good information, like to follow up on, and I think also, that Officer Amparo might already be aware of seeing this. That same type of stuff happens with roads that have speed bumps on them. And I can't say that I'm not guilty, but once you get past all the speed bumps, you tend to then, get on the lead because now you have to slow down and, make up time. And so we're seeing that, kind of all over too. It's all coupled with that. I think we have time for maybe just one more question because we have I think our next guest is coming on, and I'll make sure that everyone has Officer Amparo's information And I do want to say this, is there any other hand raised, Charles, or we're good?
We're good.
Just wanted to say for Jesse, I'll make sure that I stay right over there. I'm pretty sure they're done with the huge trucks and blocking Gregory off right there. From what I noticed, I haven't seen it blocked off for, I'll say maybe a week or so. So I haven't seen it, and I'm
It was
usually
blocked
going.
off yesterday.
It was blocked off where they detoured everyone to Emerson. What
Yeah.
what time was that?
Oh, I don't know, but there were a whole bunch of cars that were lined up. It might have. There was one construction man. It did. They didn't have the technical signs up and everything, so I don't know if they were backing a truck in or something was happening where one of the construction workers was, guiding folks around.
Okay. All right, because I do remember when they blocked it off right there and they were detouring everyone up Emerson to then turn and go around to get back on Gregory. I do remember that. I haven't seen it done and I'm usually going over there all the time. And I haven't seen it blocked off. Maybe it was a time when I wasn't working.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna take a look at that and make sure that if it is blocked, I'm looking at Gregory and Emerson to make sure no one's driving erratically around the area.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
No problem.
Can I just say,
Okay.
people park on the hill too, on Emerson, on both sides, and you can't see when you're coming either way. One morning, I almost got hit head on because there was cars on both sides and this guy was flying up the hill and I was trying to get down so that I can get onto East Avenue. It's really bad.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and that has to do with road design though too, Loretta. So it's the type of thing, if you send that into ENNA, if you don't want to do it directly, we'll get it into transportation, mobility and parking, because they look at individual roads and streets to see where those hazards are. Sometimes I just want to preface this by saying though, sometimes they'll fix a problem like that, but it actually creates another problem, elsewhere on the road. But wherever there are hills, I know that they do try to address those, and I don't know why Emerson hasn't been. And then some of these things fall under be careful what you wish for, because I know
Yeah.
on some streets where it's been really bad, the city's alternative, almost their go-to alternative is, well, we'll just make parking on one side. And then that
Mhm.
also creates, a different type of problem. But send that into me or directly to them, specifically for that Emerson Hill, and I'll make sure that TMP takes a look at that.
Okay, I'll send it to you. Thanks.
So
All right. Mhm.
I'll just add on to that. I'll end on this. So because Emerson seems to be a hot topic there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make sure that I target Emerson daily. Obviously to make sure people aren't speeding, and to take a look at the whole parking situation. And like I said, how we can make make that street safer for everyone. Obviously,
Thank you.
Like Diane mentioned, it'll get to the point where parking would say, all right, well, we're gonna go ahead and do just one side, no parking.
Mm.
And then that'll be bad for residents because then they can't park their cars. The driveways are kind of small on Emerson, so then it creates a whole nother problem. So what I'll do is I'll make sure that I can go out there and I can see how we can resolve the issue without going to to making it just a one way or one side parking, and see how I can make sure that everyone is happy without losing everyone's parking spots on there.
Great. 'Cause
Thank
I'm
you.
just afraid that once the big building is open and they change the way you have to go, it's gonna get even worse. And then when you can go under the Strawberry Hill Bridge again, that's gonna even make it worse. Because
Mhm.
everybody's gonna cut around and cut through.
Yeah. Well,
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm gonna be over there and making sure that everyone is driving accordingly the way they
Great.
should be. So
Thank
I
you.
will I can promise you guys that you'll probably see me over there on Emerson, on a daily basis, and you can come over and say hi, okay?
Sounds good.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you so much, Officer Amparo. And I want to close on one note too, because and I think I'm going to put words in your mouth as well. I think you're still on here, right? Is he
I'm still on,
Yeah,
yes.
okay. ENNA also serves as in another role where a lot of times people are afraid to report things. Either they fear, some sort of repercussions, or they just don't want their name associated with something. So we always invite them to, if there's a quality of life thing or a safety thing or a legal thing, they can reach out to us if they're really that uncomfortable. But a lot of times what we hear, especially with these quality of life things in our community, is, and I can tell you thousands of times, people say, I don't want to bother the police. They have other important things to do. But every police chief and the three of them, and all of our community policing, and Bruce would have told us the same thing. You want people to report things, and
Absolutely.
we're not bothering you. We're not, we're not taking somebody away from something. We're investigating a murder or something. It doesn't work that way. And so, and just maybe if you, one, you agree with that, and
Of
two, and
course.
to make sure that people understand you want to hear from people.
Of course, Diane. So I'll end on this now.
Okay.
So yeah, just like Diane mentioned, any quality of life issues, like I mentioned earlier, if it's the neighbor has their music on too loud, the neighbor has their vehicle parked too close to my driveway, something to that effect, please, if you want to stay anonymous, that is completely fine. You just let me know, hey, listen, I just wanted to report this. I want to stay anonymous. I don't want to bother you guys, but this is bothering me. So my job is to make sure that you guys' quality of life is not bothered. Okay, that you live peacefully in East Norwalk, without any type of retaliation from anyone. My job is to make you guys' life easier. Okay, so if you have a problem, as long as it's not an emergency that needs an immediate response, please give me a call, leave me a voicemail if I don't respond. Text me, and I will be more than happy to assist you guys with whatever the issue is, or whatever is going on. I will let you know if I can't find the answer to something. I will make sure that I get back to you guys, and tell you, listen, this is what's going on. This is what I can do. This is what I can't do. I want to be fully transparent with everyone. My goal is to make everyone happy. All right, that's my
Thank you.
job. I'm a police officer. I do still patrol and do things, out on the road. However, my primary, goal is to serve the East Norwalk area. That's my job. So if you guys have any issues in the East Norwalk area, and I actually go up all the way, from East Norwalk, basically from the beach all the way to, sometimes I go up to,
Westport Avenue or up to
Westport Ave.
okay. Yeah.
I
Okay.
just drew a blank on it. But yeah, sometimes I go up to Westport Ave. I try
Yeah.
not to go up past that, like towards Wolf Pit or anything. That's not my area there. So I, stay kind of in between Westport Ave and the beach. So again, if you have any concerns, any issues, please don't hesitate to give me a call or reach out to me. All right, you're not bothering me
Thank
at
you.
all. I'm actually looking forward to speaking to you guys and helping you with your issues.
Thank you so much. I know you can't hear us clapping, but you can see people. Welcome, and so glad we
Thank-
know that you know us and we know you. And thank you for your time. And I will post, because I didn't have it on the PowerPoint, but I will post in the email your contact information for email and texting, and your full name and everything, so folks have that as well. Thank you
Perfect.
so much.
Thank you again for
All right,
having me,
be
guys, and
safe.
looking forward to helping you.
Okay. Thanks, Rawlin.
Take care.
Do we have Anthony Peña from Key
Yes, we
Food
do.
in? Okay.
Yes. Hi. How are you guys? Good
Okay.
morning. Good afternoon.
Good. Hi. Are you there? Okay. Nathan,
Yes.
hi. How are you?
I'm very well. How are you?
Good. Thank you. So you're our new guest speaker. I did not have a bio set up for you. So for everyone, this is Anthony. Do you pronounce it Peña?
Yes, Anthony Payne. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. From Key Food Markets and other market endeavors, and most of you know, or you're going to hear for the first time tonight, that this is the company that participated in the auction rights for the Rite Aid lease on, well, there were hundreds of them, but for our location here on East Avenue. And so they are in the process of beginning the steps with the tenant to do a tenant fit up, to get that through the city so that we can have a key food fresh market here. And what I'd like to do is just go ahead and turn this over to Mr. Peña and let him introduce himself. I'm particularly interested in you folks knowing what his background and connection is to East Norwalk itself, and then talk about his vision for what the market could be here. Anthony also did provide me with some deck of some pictures of the renderings for what the inside of the store may look like. For folks who had our weekend email, you also saw some renderings that were provided to the city, and we posted them in there. But these are actually color graphic renditions of what it can look like. And so you can go ahead and start, Anthony, and then if you want me to bring any of those up as you're talking,
Yes.
or once you're done, we can certainly share some of that. And again, we really are so appreciative. I know how busy you are, and we're so appreciative that you could hop on here tonight.
Thank you, guys. I really appreciate the time, and for me, it's an honor to be here with all my local residents, my neighbors. First and foremost, I'm Anthony Peña. I am a second generation grocer. My father is the current owner and operator of the Key Foods that you all know on West Avenue, family-run business. And I just branched out and started doing my own, and then we became partners, and that's kind of how we become in the supermarket business. I've been in the business since I was 8 years old, so very, very young. So I was always the kid that you see behind the counters in some of these local stores, and that would be me. So for me, my parents live in East Norwalk, and I myself just bought a home in the Catalpa, right over on East Norwalk by the high school. And my parents live over on Winfield, so we know the area very well. We fell in love with it. My parents have been here since 2006, I believe. And we've always wanted to come into Norwalk to live. And we started West Avenue, very small, and it has grown into the business that you guys see today. And every day we drove by that Rite Aid, and it would, and I would always see it, and I always thought it'd be a good opportunity for us until we found the bankruptcy. We went into the bankruptcy. We got lucky enough to go into the courts, and we were a little bit afraid because we really wanted the store. And we were afraid because we were up against Dollar General, the dollar store chain, and we were pretty much neck to neck competing against the bid. And my father said, "Listen, we can't lose to the dollar store." So we won it. We won from the dollar store. It was they took a package of like 116 stores, and then they just penciled that one out for us. So I was very happy to win that auction and gain possession, which for me is very important because we live in the neighborhood. I eat at Penny's. I was in Penny's Diner on Sunday eating. I mean, I'm from the neighborhood. My parents, like I said, live there. I live here. My kids and everybody, my family, all my family lives in Norwalk. So I'm very proud. This is a very proud acquisition for us. I own and operate several other stores in Massachusetts. I own what's called a discount model, which is Save a Lot. And I've grown to love the model, and I'll explain to you guys in a little bit as to why that's important for what we're doing here. A little bit about the discount model. The discount model is similar to Aldi's, Trader Joe's, that type of model, right? It's limited assortment, hard discounter. That's what I run. That's what I love to do, and that's what I'm going to continue doing. Which means is that I'm going to bring in the best possible pricing to the market. Sometimes people think small markets are very expensive, but I'm part of the Key Food Co-op, which we have 700 stores within the cooperative, and we're able to buy and get aggressive pricing, which means that the model in Norwalk is going to start changing. The one in West Avenue is going to start changing to the discount model because I'm taking over all my father's stores, and that's the model that I'm running. So for East Norwalk, it's really a multicultural store that we're looking to operate. with a hard discount heart, meaning that you're not gonna find these items that are overly priced. Our prices are gonna be extremely competitive, and worthwhile. So it's gonna have everything you're looking for: hot foods, fresh meats, produce, a lot of ethnic items, also multicultural items. Um, and that's kind of that's kind of our model. That's the business model that we're looking to run. And I've provided some of the renderings just so that you can see a little bit about what we're looking to do inside as far as a product. We want to do something really nice. We want to do something to match the area to the area that we love, and we're planning to invest to stay long term. Meaning that I hope my kids and their kids continue to operate as long as obviously Mary, which is the owner of the building, and her family allow us to do that. So Diana, if you could just um, show a little bit of. Oh, so I provided some drawings. Maybe we could take a look at some of the ideas. So this is kind of similar to what we're looking to see in the store. As you can see, this store is in an Italian neighborhood, which I'm a part of in Homestead. It has, yeah, as you can see, the little sky right there. So we wanted to give it like a nice little Venetian vibe to it. So you got the nice floor, you got the sky, the track lighting, and then some of the items that we're offering that store in particular: nice bakery, gelato, sushi, all homemade stuff, all made by local vendors because we believe in that. So that's kind of the image that I'm looking to do. I don't know if you want to go to the next slide. Um, that's kind of the image that we're looking to put into that space. Make it like a nice little market, which has a little bit of everything. Gelato. I plan to do a juice bar. That's the front of the store. A juice bar, flowers, olive bar, hot foods, bakery, fresh bakery. That's a little bit of, you can see a little bit of some of like the produce section when you walk into the store. It gives it a nice little aesthetic look. I mean, we want to do something really nice, and that's some of the renderings for the graphics throughout the store. So you can see a little bit about what we're looking to put in. I mean, we're looking to put in something very nice and something that we can feel very proud of in our stores. And yeah, to me, I mean, that's just kind of like a decor package that we're looking to. Um, and obviously, it's nice to have something nice, but at the same time, it's even more valuable to have something that you can afford and that you can go in and spend money. It's always going to be fresh, and it's always going to be at a discount price. Because we know that you guys have options. We know the options that are here. I'm a supermarket fan, so I shop in all the stores. Um, the Wegmans, the Stu Leonards of the world, the Stop and Shops, the ShopRights. And I think we're going to fit in just fine because of the model that we're coming. The hours we're thinking, we're working on the hours for seeing, because depending on the traffic, because I know the traffic is a big concern. So we're looking maybe from 7 to 10, the hours Sunday probably till 8 or 9. And yes, we will have all the national brands. So when I mean discount model, not a lot of private label, but discount model with national brands, meaning Hellman's Mayonnaise, Heinz, Newman's Own, all those type of products that you would find in like a ShopRite or a Stop and Shop, you'll find in our store. Not the full variety because of the space. I mean, I would like to make the space a little bit bigger, but we got to live with what we have. So we will have an extensive variety, but not a full blown variety of items. But we will have what sells in the area, and then as far as that's concerned, all a line of meats, vegetables, produce, dairy products, frozen items, ice creams. Like I said, we're gonna have a juice bar. We're having a first time. I'm doing a crepe. I just become a fan of crepes for some reason now that we're doing crepes with fruits and vegetables and ice cream. So that's gonna be new for us. So it's gonna be a new venture, and we're excited to have that because I don't know, for some reason I just fell in love with crepes, and then I said, you know what, we should try it. And they are delicious. Let me tell you, we've tried them in our other store. Oh my God, I'll provide Diane some pictures so she can put it in one of the meetings. So you'll see these crowds. These things are amazing. I mean, they're really, really good. So, and I'm a fan of what I do. So I love what I do. I don't see it tedious, and we're very flexible. Meaning if you guys are looking for anything in particular, if you guys are looking for a modification or a change, or even if you're looking for a specific amount of items, we're here to cater to whatever it is that the community is looking for. So, and then once we start, once the store opens, which we plan on, hopefully, it all depends on City Hall. It all depends on City Hall. We're going for a site review within the next week or two. So if everything gets approved and everything is set, I have all my equipment. I have everything ready to go because I've been preparing for this, like I said, for such a long time. And I knew I was going to win in the auction. And once I knew I was going to win in the auction, I went ahead and pre-bought all my equipment. So we should be, once I get the permit construction, we're looking at 3 to 4 months tops. Maybe won't be done by this year, maybe January, February. But you guys will definitely be the first to take a quick sneak preview. And listen,
Yay.
and I'm a really open book. So whatever it is that we need to do, whatever it is that we need to do to make the market the best that it can be, please. I mean, I'm all ears. I know, for example, for my other store, um, I know there's some concerns even regarding to my other stores that we're actively addressing. Um, for example, trash. I know pest control is very important. I know that I remember that area back when there was a Howard Johnson there. So and I know and I know that there may be issues with pests and stuff like that, but we're working with the exterminators to make sure that everything is all good. I haven't seen any issues with rodents or anything like that yet there. Obviously we're gonna, once we do the demolition and everything else, we're gonna make sure that we're on top of all those things. And also that parking that's next door. I know that it's it's a municipal parking lot. I think the city is doing a staging area, or they're charging people. I mean, that's something that is going to come into question on our end, that we may be looking into hopefully acquiring that space to provide more parking for our customers if it's possible. So if that's the case, then we'll do that. Um, but we're gonna go to the site review. We're gonna see what we can do to the outside to beautify the building. I know that per like the schematics and per the architectural, there's not a lot of things that I can do, but I will try to respect the outside of the building. I want to put something that's really nice and we can all feel proud of. Make a nice glass storefront, light it up a little bit, make it look really pretty. Obviously maintain the property. We know how important it is to have that look, right? It's right off the exit, so we want to make sure we have a nice clean store. No debris, no trash, nice freshly painted. So we have a lot of ideas. We have a lot of, sometimes I may go a little crazy with some of the ideas. I was even thinking about, paving the front and putting like chairs and tables with umbrellas there so people can have the ice cream and sit right up front. I mean, these are some of the ideas that I had, but I don't know if I'll be allowed to do it, or if if the city will allow me to do something like that, or if it's even something that, the zoning will allow me. And the entrance, yeah, we're going to completely redo the front. We're gonna do a much larger entrance, much larger exit, so that to keep up to the standards of traffic and the flow. Also for the seniors, we're gonna provide shuttle service to and from the housing developments, or we may pick different areas within the neighborhood where we would pick people up, take them to the store, like sort of like a Uber. So we'll have that. I'll have that service. I'll have that service available. Yeah, we're working with the architect. I saw that there was a question in and out. We're working with the architect to see if it's better to have the entrance come in from East Avenue or the parking lot. But we are looking at all options to change that front so that it has a bigger entrance and exit. So that it won't look so congested when people walk in and out of the store.
And so folks too, I'll hop in too, Anthony, so that folks know that you and I've had some communications via email and then on the phone, because the neighborhood associations tend to have kind of I'll call it our hit list of quality of life concerns. They're the type of things that are typically associated with a special permit, which you're not required to do because you're just a retail fit up. You only have to have a site design review. But we have been talking about making sure there's a commitment to addressing all the quality of life things, including, parking, traffic congestion. The lot itself there's no surprise to you that there's drainage issues there. But then also, snow removal versus snow pushing so that you're not taking up parking spaces, but also noise, light pollution, air pollution, HVAC. East Norwalk does have kind of a rodent issue now, based on it started back with the pandemic, when all the stores closed and businesses closed, but then it was exacerbated by all of the infrastructure along the railroad tracks and in East Norwalk proper. And so we'd want to, make sure about that. And then just maintaining your store as well. I think we had in our list as well, the timing of deliveries, how delivery trucks would come in, how frequently your trucks come in, with your independent deliveries versus your co-op deliveries. So we started having these baseline decisions, and I think that your commitment to address each one of those to the level that you can. And what I've told people that have reached out to me is kind of a couple things. Generally speaking, no business wants to be someplace that they're not wanted, or that they came into and people then aren't feeling the love. So I think that's true of your family, that you're coming into a neighborhood where you live and that you want to be and the people want you. But also that there's a commitment to make sure that you're, filling the needs of the community and making sure that these quality of life, issues are addressed. And we're going to open it up for questions if you can take the time. But one of the things I wanted to make sure when I saw the city's rendition is, were you intending originally to change the footprint of the store, or the baseline footprint now is going to stay the same because that impacts parking and delivery and everything else on site?
Yeah, what we're looking to do is we're looking to keep the same exact footprint. The only thing is, for example, we wanted to make more of a retail square footage.
Mhm.
So on the outside, if you remember right now, where they had like this, they have like a concrete or I think is a blocks that they have in the back. So what we're looking to do is use that area instead of the trash can, the trash and all that stuff there. We're looking to use that area to hold some of the coolers. And by the way, when it comes to energy efficient, I mean, all the equipment in the store is going to be brand new. So everything is going to be specialized just for that area. Because sometimes, you guys will bring in used equipment and it'll make a lot of noise. So our equipment, everything that's going to be used in that store is going to be brand new. Because like I said, I'm committed for the long haul. I'm not in there for, I'm not gonna cut any corners. I'm gonna do whatever I need to do to make sure that the store and the operation is right. And as far as the noise and the deliveries and that's concerned, I'm gonna definitely talk with my operations team just to make sure that if it's to a benefit to get early deliveries that way, because I know the area very well, and I know from like 2 to 3 to 4 o'clock, I mean that thing gets bumper to bumper. I mean sometimes it'll take me, almost 45 minutes to get to my house from West Avenue, and I cross through there every day. So, and I'm over, and I go to my parents' house. I'm over on Winfield. I don't know if I don't know if you guys will give you a little bit about where we are. Our house burned down, actually. I don't know if it was, but a
Oh,
couple, that was our house.
oh my goodness.
It was in the news a couple months
Uh-huh.
ago, last year.
Uh-huh.
So that big house fire that was over there
Right.
on Winfield, that was my parents' house.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
So and I drive by there every day, and I love I love the area. So I want to make sure that it stays aesthetically beautiful. And we do whatever we need to do to comply with whatever standards that is all set out throughout the community. And as far as the parking is concerned, I mean, the parking, we're not changing any parking. We're looking obviously to keep the same exact footprint as far as parking is concerned. And I think somebody said, I saw a question something about solar panels. So with the solar panels, I'm not sure. I haven't really, I haven't really gotten into that. So I'll look into it, but I've never really actually done my homework on that. Because sometimes the operation that we run, they consume so much power that sometimes the solar panels are not options for us. But it could be a secondary option. That we go on the grid, because then with solar panels, you got to bring those big panels, and I don't know how it look aesthetically for the community. But yeah, so I know that there was a rodent problem in that area also. So we're working very, very, very close so that we can make sure that our exterminating company makes sure that gets taken care of.
Yeah, thank you. Yep. In terms
And
of the parking too, then are you going to have a cart return so as part of the parking lot that exists now?
the car, the
Or
car
will it be in
corrals,
store? Mhm.
the car corrals will be in store and near
Okay.
adjacent to the building, so that
Okay.
we don't have, I don't want to lose any parking, because I think it's very
Right.
important that we have parking. And also we'll have somebody outside constantly. Obviously, part of the maintaining of the parking lot, we'll have somebody outside almost at all hours, cleaning, making sure that the parking lot is good. Obviously, we know there's a lot of cut through traffic through there. A lot of people cut through the store
Right.
to go to the other side. So we want to make sure, because remember, people are shopping, kids could be coming in to the store, and then a car cuts through there. And, we want to make sure our customers feel safe when they're when they're going into shop. So
Right. Yeah.
um
And that's good too. And I think you need to take that in account for the hours as well, only because of the proximity to the highway too. Why don't we open it up to some questions if you have some time? And I think
sure.
I don't know, and I don't presume to say this, Anthony, but I think this is just our first dialogue. So
Yes, it
we're
is.
hoping
Yes.
to keep us in the loop as you progress, and then as you get closer with things, if it seems relevant to do so, you can always hop onto our monthly meeting or just send us stuff
I
in
will.
email, and we can get it out to people on a weekly basis. So
Yes, I'll be more than
I know you've been
glad to
seeing some
continue
of
being part of it.
the chat questions there. Charles, does anybody have their hand up, or do you want to go back and forth between chat that wasn't answered yet?
I don't see any hands up, and Anthony's doing a good job looking at the chat. So.
Yeah, I'm impressed. I can't do that myself. I can't talk
Yeah,
and then look
I'm
at
very.
that
I mean,
chat. So.
I'm very. I want to make sure I get everybody. The majority of the questions answered,
Mhm.
and because now that we're in the planning stage, for me, it's very important to get. I like to listen to the concerns, because that way it helps me create, and it helps me build a better business plan. Because for me, it's all about. Making sure that the community loves the store that we're in, and also that they have input. So people can tell me, look, Anthony, I like this, or I want this, or I want to see this, and I'll be able to deliver.
And I can tell you that I think I told you one of my favorite stores. I'm not a supermarket type of gal, but it's one of my favorite stores or two are Cranberry Market, which is a neighborhood market, and the produce market on Main Avenue. And one of the things I love about the produce market there, I don't know if you shop in there or go there, another family-owned, fantastic business, but they'll actually special order stuff in for you. And when you ask an employee where something is, they don't just tell you like aisle 2. They will actually walk you over to the aisle
Yeah.
and help you. And I mean, real hands-on. The folks at the register, are just fantastic. And I'm sure, your employers are going to be too. I remember being in there once, and gals from like a week ago asked me how my guacamole came out from the week before. Like what? Who even remembers that? But speaking of that too, when we first spoke early on or in emails, we were talking about whether you would make a commitment to having some priority for hiring East Norwalk residents, so that we have the benefit of having people that can walk to work.
Yes,
But
we will make
do
a
you want to
commitment
talk a
for
little
that.
bit
Yeah,
about that, or?
yeah, I am committed to that 100%. Once we start the construction process, and we'll start interviewing people. What I usually like to do is I look at people's addresses. So I mean, I know. Listen, at the end of the day, I try to do what's right for the community. But I like for every applicant to at least put the address, and then I'll know immediately if it's from East Norwalk. And then obviously that I'll have first priority over anybody who lives in the area. I think that's very important. One, that they know their neighborhood. Two, it's accessible to come in and come out of work, so they don't, because a lot of people take buses, cars, and all these other
Right.
things. And then they know their neighborhood. So I think that's very important. Very, very important.
Thank you. Okay, questions? We're back to chat. I think we have a hand raised, maybe. Or did it just go down?
Let's see.
Yeah, that
Or
rodent,
maybe
the
they,
rodent problem. Yeah, the rodent problem. I saw somebody asked about the rodent problem. Yeah, no. We listen. In the end of the day, in order to maintain those those little people, I call them, because sometimes these rats are the size of people. Uh,
right,
keep everything clean.
yeah,
Keep everything clean. The outside part, especially all the trash, all the buildup, all that stuff. Making sure that that's the best thing to do. I mean,
yeah, and I
it's
think that's
just
the topic too, just, that we spoke about too, about the perception of West Avenue. Once you get in the store and you're shopping, like everything is okay, but the property hadn't been well maintained. And in terms of trash and just the lot itself. And I know you've been doing some work there, and we just want to
yeah,
make
yeah.
sure when it's here,
Yeah, we had
everything is
somebody
welcoming and
we had somebody do the maintenance for us. So then we decided to take it over ourselves just
Mhm.
recently. So we're gonna start. We're doing a lot of the work ourselves with some of the employees that we have.
Gotcha. Okay. And I
And
know
for
when you
as
said
far
that
as
you're reconfiguring the front a little bit, if the city allows you to have a couple of tables out there, you also spoke about having space available that's comfortable and covered for, say, Girl Scouts or fundraising or for food
yes,
drives and things. Um,
that we will encourage any local like nonprofits or anybody that wants to be part of. They want to. I'll give priority to the association and any members that want, for example, Girl Scout cookies and any for pets. Salvation Army, because sometimes they stand in the front with the bell in
right,
Christmas time. It obviously won't be this year, but for next year,
right,
we'll make sure that I want to see if I can get maybe like a roof or something, or
right.
so that we can use that outside
Yeah.
area for just to stage people on the outside. So or if they allow me to maybe do like a glass front
Hmm.
in addition to like a temporary unit that I can put either tables and chairs on the outside. I gotta be a little bit creative with my
Yeah.
designer, so she can tell me
Right.
what I can do.
Yeah, that would be
um
nice. And I know that we saw it
yes.
pop up again too on the solar panels. I think people would be very interested to make sure you look into that. 'Cause even if it's not for like the
I
whole
will.
operation, like you said, it's very intensive with the generation. It could be for like all the auxiliary lighting and the registers and stuff like that. We're in the third taxing district where we're blessed, as you know, from your family being here. We have really reasonable rates, and knock on wood, we
Thank God, yeah.
lose power, and if we do, it's more than a few minutes. I know that you'll have
I love
generators
so
as well
we love
because you're.
yeah,
Is,
we love
is
so I have it in my
any of
house.
the
And
mechanicals rooftop, or they're going to be in the parking lot too?
The mechanicals, like I said, they're super energy efficient, so they're like the size of refrigerators, like home.
Mhm,
So we're gonna have two units that are literally the size of refrigerators.
mhm,
And yeah, we will have one rooftop unit, which is like a condenser fans and things like that. But the motors, or the heart of the store, will be there are two units that look exactly like refrigerators. So the same size and everything as refrigerators.
mhm,
But I will look into the solar panel. I mean, I
mhm.
have it in my house. I pay, like $68 a month,
Okay.
and I love
Yeah.
it. I mean,
Nice.
in the winter time, then it goes up a little bit. It goes up a little bit more because we don't get a lot of sun. But
Mhm,
I do love the solar panels, and I love that. I don't know how commercially it would work for us, but we'll look into it.
mhm. Yeah. And since you've had your store before now, the regulations, because we're in a special district here with the East Norwalk Village Transit zone. And but the city has since updated all their regulations. So there's pretty strict regulations on signage and lighting. So I
Yeah.
know that you can't get a permit without complying with those. But the other thing we'd be concerned with, because you do have some residential that's right behind you on gosh, I can never think of the name of that street. Somebody's probably on here from that, but just to make sure that
Charles, yeah.
cognizant of the neighbors in terms with lighting and stuff, and like I said, the deliveries and everything.
Yeah, I mean, our deliveries are not like, we don't allow deliveries after like 6 p.m.
Mhm,
And anything before like 6 in the morning. So we have, we have very strict delivery times, also because we don't want to be receiving a truck at midnight. It just doesn't, for us, is not operationally viable. And we wouldn't want to do that to our community. So we know exactly how it is. I mean, I've lived in the back of a grocery store, a couple years ago, and I know that, it's, it was crazy seeing all these trucks and all these tractor trailers and everything. So it's very uncomfortable, and I know exactly how it feels. So if there's any concerns, please, I mean, any of the neighbors in the area, just either reach out to yourself, Diane, or reach out to me directly. We'll be more than glad to address any issues. If we have to change delivery times, we will.
And in terms of liquor, so I'm not sure how licenses work in a market. Is it restricted to beer for what you'd be selling for liquor in the store?
Yeah, yeah, just a beer.
Okay.
We just sell beer, and we're really gonna look into it. But if we bring in the beer, that's another thing, part of the operation. What type of beer we're gonna bring in? Yeah, obviously we'll have the standard, the Coronas, the Modelos, the Budweiser, Bud Lights, and the Coors, and all that other stuff. But if we can, if the neighborhood requests or wants some type of craft beer, specialty beers, and stuff like that, we have access to obtain all those items. Beer, for example, I know that there's a big Greek community in the area. From what I've been told, there's a big Greek community. We may have, we do have a supplier who supplies a lot of the items from let's say from Greece, and from whatever ethnicity that's local, and that we need to cater to.
Okay, what do we have for questions, comments, suggestions, Charles? I'm not watching the chat.
There's a question about, will there be locally sourced products?
Yes, the produce, there will be locally. I don't know how local. Usually we deal with upstate, by Wallingford. There's a farm that we work with to do corn and apples. So there will be, those items. There are other items that we try to work with some of the local guys, but sometimes the pricing is just too much. But we do have a good source of like local, like organic items, items that are fully organic, items that the same suppliers that supplies like a Whole Foods, Amazon, Big Y, those same guys. We do business with them. So you'll definitely see that. And every once in a while, if there's a local farmer or somebody that wants to do business with us, and we may bring in one or two other items that we think makes sense, because we try to do it, but the reality sometimes is that, for example, I try to do something with someone for some tomatoes, like the 5x6 tomatoes, which is or beefsteak tomatoes, and they were like at $11.99 a pound. And then a customer sometimes it's a little tough to, but some bought it. Don't get me wrong, but then not a lot of people bought those items. So, but we will have, for example, when the apple season comes around, the corn season, we do have and that's the best. That sweet corn, oh man, so we do buy a lot of local items.
Okay. Next question: will you bring in fresh baked goods or do that in store?
Good question.
That's a very good question. We'll do a mixture of both. We do, we don't have any in-store bakery in my store because of the size and the layout. Again, my father, when he opened the store, he didn't envision like what we're envisioning now, having a fresh bakery. But we will have a bakery in the store. We will bake fresh bread every day in the morning. The croissants, which I'm a massive favorite of. Sometimes I look at my profit margin shrink because I eat all the croissants. The corn muffins, the croissants, the pastries, I the corn tops, all those things. I love those things. So we will have it in the store. And there's some local, for example, there's like these Mexican breads called conchas. We have a supplier that they're local. They're out of Port Chester, I believe, New York. They'll bring some of their fresh bread every day in the morning. And then we have there's an ethnic cake out of Bridgeport that comes in, and then they drop off like the cakes and things like that, pound cakes and cupcakes. So we do have local people that are going to be sourcing some of the bakery items.
And there'll be traditional aisles too for like toiletries or cleaning goods or
Yeah.
maybe a small kiosk for greeting cards or like for a one-stop, shop for folks or.
Yes, we're gonna have a floral department. We're gonna have flowers. So in the floral
Oh,
department, we're gonna
okay.
dedicate
Yeah.
at least
Okay.
6 feet. It'll be a rack where it'll have like it'll change obviously with the seasons, but we will have a rack for flowers and greeting cards. It'll have your typical. It'll have your typical grocery items because again uh, we're gonna have everything that you would find in a large grocery store. You'll find it in here. I mean, it's a pretty decent size. It's a little bit bigger than West Avenue.
Yep.
And the spacing in between the aisles, it's about 6 feet. So,
Yeah.
we're looking.
Yeah.
It's gonna have everything that's in our catalog. It's just not, for example. Sometimes you go to a grocery store. I mean, or even the larger stores. I shop all the time, like at a ShopRite and Stop and Shop and the Big Y's. And you'll see, for example, you'll see like 7 different brands of salad dressings, right?
Right.
And then sometimes you get confused. But you will have in my store. You'll have the national brand, the top sellers, which is the Wishbones, the Newman's Own, which I have it in all of my stores, even the discount models. And then you'll have the private label, which is always the private label. It's always the value. And then you'll have a specialty. A specialty meaning a multicultural, whatever. I don't know if in salad dressings it'll make sense, but in whatever other items, we usually try to have those items that you only find in those neighborhoods, or you only find in those ethnicities. So, for example, salt, idolize salt, Morton's and Superior now it's called. So those are the 2 salts that we carry. Sugar, Domino's, which is and our private label sugar. So cereal, all kinds of cereals, especially So I do have one thing. I have to have Lucky Charms because that's my daughter, my little daughter, 3-year-old. My 3-year-old daughter once I walked into my store, she didn't find Lucky Charms, and I had it. So I make sure that I have the Lucky Charms in all of my stores. The large pack, the large ones.
There you go.
Yeah. But yeah. So those are the things that we will have. A Tropicana, orange juices. So all the items that you find in the national chains, they'll be in our store.
What are the checkouts will still be cashiers and staff, right? Or are you going to have a mix?
Yes, me and my father had a big.
Okay.
Let me tell you a story. I want to tell you guys share a quick story. Me and my father had a big argument about cash. Yeah, Cafe Bustelo we will have. Me and my father had a big argument about checkouts. I wanted to put 6 self-checkouts. My father said, if I do that, he's going to fire me himself. So I said, okay. So we don't have any checkouts in any of our stores, self-checkouts. We have, because we believe in people and we believe in hiring people. I mean, if self-checkout comes in, we'll be the last of the Mohegans with the self-checkouts. I mean, we may have maybe 1 or 2 self-checkouts, but we do not believe in self-checkouts, and we don't think it's an investment. We like to invest in people and give people jobs, because again, my father came to this country as an immigrant. Somebody gave him an opportunity, and we like to supply the same local people like opportunity. So we don't believe in the self-checkouts. None of our stores have it till this day. And he told my father told me, he says, you got to have people, because right now, I don't know about you guys, but right now the society, I think, has gotten too technological. Everybody's in a bubble. Everybody's on their phones, and you miss that interaction, that face to face. COVID taught us that. And then we clamped down. We said, you know what? No self checkouts. We're going to have cashiers. We're going to hire people. We get it. Some cashiers are fast. Some cashiers are slow. But we will have at least, at all times, 3 or 4 or 5 cashiers. So
that'll be great. I just personally, I'm not a self checkout person. I never use them. I always want to go through the the cashier line and, get to know the cashiers and everything. And I prefer that too. And I'm sure you'll hear it if things are too slow. And so, it can be addressed in that manner, but it's nice if you're focusing on people and
Yeah.
jobs and having that interaction.
Yes. I mean, we thought about it. There's an option that I considered, and my father, my father kind of was in agreement, but kind of not. Is that there's a new system that we're really actively looking into, is that the cash registers, they convert into self-checkout, but then you can convert them back into manned. So it's
Right.
like
Okay.
it's an interesting one that we will be looking into, because sometimes, for example, let's say in the morning and we only have one cashier, somebody calls out, we still got to think about the operation. We want people to come
Right.
in and out of the store right away. So
Yeah.
we may look into temporarily have a cash register become a
Right.
self-checkout option,
Right.
and then
Yeah.
converts back
That's
to
smart.
band.
Yeah,
So
that's
so
smart.
that my father, I'm still negotiating with him with that, but we may look into it. So
I think that's smart. Yeah.
yeah, because in the end of the day, let's say somebody it may be a long line, somebody has like 2 items, a hand item they want to get out. And then, I found myself in that situation sometimes. For example, when there's big storms or like the first of the month, there's a lot of people shopping, and I have like a milk and eggs, and I'm like, man, I gotta wait this long line. This person in front of me has a big list, and I feel bad kind of saying, can I go in front of you? So if we offer that option for like 10 items or less, like
Right.
a hybrid self-checkout, then that's
Right.
something we're looking into very,
Yeah.
very, very hard. I mean, actually, next week I have a meeting with my POS guy, my point of sale system person.
Right.
So
Good.
yeah, so we're gonna try to see if I can get it done. Hopefully, I can, but
Good.
it's
I
not
think the
much
hybrid
change.
would work good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions, comments, suggestions? I wish I had a fill in the blank. We have Anthony, he'll be back, but we have Anthony here and he wants to hear from you folks. So
Yeah. And please,
Okay,
I know there may be questions later, or somebody else in the community that may have a question. I think you put my email there,
I put you,
Anthony.
yeah, I think I have that right. I hope, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Anthony at pennagroup.org. My
Yeah.
email's there. My phone, I barely turn it off. I have problems with my wife because it always rings at all times. But it doesn't matter. I'm okay. I mean, I love when people call me. People talk to me, write me my emails, whether good or bad. Compliment me, tell me I'm doing something wrong. I love it because it helps us become better business operators. So that's what we want to be.
Right.
okay, I have one quick question. Will
Sure.
there be any section for health foods, say like almond milk or hummus or grains?
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, we have an extensive line, includes some of the yogurts that we have. They're very, I can bring in just so that you guys understand. My wholesaler, the company that delivers groceries to us, is the same wholesaler that works with Whole Foods, and the Big Ys and the Stop and Shops of the world. So my wholesaler, being that I have access to that catalog, we have stores within the co-op. They're called Food Emporium, that are super high end. Like, I mean, these things, they got cheeses from all over the world. I mean, our supplier can get us some super high end stuff, and we will have like the core item, the almond milk, the oat milk. We have goat cheese and and all the types of items that you would normally find. And we will have the space for it too, because we're designing our stores that they have maximum capacity refrigerators, meaning that they're called low highs in our industry, meaning that I can put a lot of inventory on hand, and I can have a lot of variety of perishable items. So you'll see a lot of the yogurts, a lot of the different types of yogurts. You'll see a lot of the different milks. I know lactose intolerant. There's a lot of people, that don't tolerate the lactose, and we're very, we're very cautious of all those things. So
Yeah,
we
I think
will have
all the flours and the grains too that are so popular now. People moving away from the
smoothies.
white
Yes.
flours and stuff. Oh, there's something that just popped up there. Smoothies.
Yes,
Somebody's
that'll
asking.
be the center of the deli department. We will have smoothies, milkshakes. We will have ice cream, crepes. Like I said, the fruit crepes we will have. So we will have those items in our deli department. And yeah, so you know, we will carry a good variety of those items. So, and if we can't get it, if we don't have it in stock, and we see there's a demand, I'm able to change my planogram, and I'm able to cater to that community.
This one says, how do you handle if someone buys something and they don't, oh, I think I just missed it there, and they don't like it? Do you have like 100% guarantee, satisfaction guarantee, or?
Yeah, we do. We have you know, we have you come in with the receipt, and we'll either exchange it or give you your money back. I mean, obviously, as we know, sometimes there are items that you know, for example, if somebody drops, because it happens a lot, somebody drops a dozen of eggs in the store, and it breaks. You know, well, listen, we're in it for the community. So now, if there's somebody, and I'll be honest with you, there's somebody that grabs and just throws it and kind of waits and see. I mean, you know, you know, sometimes you got to be realistic here. You know, and we try to be as fair as we can be. You know, and you know, we understand that things happen. Myself, sometimes I go with those awful paper bags. You grab them and it leaks and everything falls, and you know, you're like, oh my God, you know, and that happens. We understand that it happens, and we would be more than glad to, you know, exchange those items, you know, without a problem. I mean, you know, we know you guys have a choice to shop, and just by coming in and patronizing and buying anything in our stores, we feel more than glad, you know, to you know, to do what we have to. And yes, we will have acai bowls.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it's really good.
I think that was the last question there.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we're coming up on 8:30. Charles, do we have some more questions?
There was just a question if you feel you have enough of a footprint to deliver all these things.
Good question.
A very good. I wish I had more. I wish I had another 50,000 more square feet. But that's why I want to maximize the space as much as I can, and I want to try to utilize the spaces on my other store to transport inventory. Meaning that I'm blessed to have the other store nearby. Meaning that I can buy in bulk, and I'll be able to transport from one store to the other some of the items. For example, some of the sugars, you know, you have to buy those things in bulk in order for you to get the best price, for me to offer the best price. So I'm able to buy in bulk. And I have in my Massachusetts stores, I have a massive store, which I you know, I have as a warehouse. So I'm able to do that. That's why I'm able to expand and get the max that I can out of that space. You know, we will have obviously the prep rooms and things like that there on site, because we can't prepare things off site and bring it in. But you know, we're working with this. You know, we're gonna work with the city to see what's the most I can do. But yeah, we're looking.
And I think Rite Aid is 19 or 20,000 square feet. It's actually bigger than I think what people realize when you go in.
It is. You know,
the footprint is.
You're right. I found it relatively big. I said, wow, you know, I didn't really think it's that big, but it's about 11,000 square feet retail.
Yeah. And then I saw you also have like a break room for employees, and you have like the office here, and you have the customer service. Booth
the office area, if you saw the office, is very, very tiny. My father doesn't believe in office. My father doesn't believe that, you know, we should be in an office. That's why you see me. You know, I'm always out in the stores. So my father doesn't believe in office space. So he has a little tiny, every wood, he had a little tiny office where you can just, yeah, but yeah. So as far as comparison to West Avenue, I saw one there. It's much bigger than the one in West Avenue. So, you know, and the one in West Avenue is pretty jammed. I mean, crammed in there. You know, obviously my father did a very good job with, you know, what he's doing there. That business model that he has been very successful in. He's been working out very well for him there. So you know, we're gonna try to, obviously, you'll see some changes coming very, very soon. Obviously, you'll see that I'm coming in, because you'll see you'll see something aesthetically different. Obviously, you guys saw we painted on the outside. You know, we're gonna do interior work, which I'm very excited about, to match the decor that we're gonna do in the other store. So we're gonna, you know, we're gonna do those things there. So
yeah, I think it'll be nice, and I think you know, with the whole array of items and services that you're going to have, you know, to make sure you're committing to the wider, you know, aisles, and just, you know, better lighting. I think it's going to be, you know, a lot of it is just the experience, as people say, and I'll be, a good critic for you because I'm the person, a lot of people out here know me personally to know that I'd really rather have a root canal than go shopping for anything. So
Good
I'm the
stuff.
critic of, is this experience going to be, a nice one? And, that's why I like the key foods where you are. And I think this is really going to be good for people. Oh, hot sauce. Yeah. How about local hot sauces too?
Yeah, we will have local hot sauces. I'm speaking with a vendor now I think he's out of Bridgeport. Nice spicy. Oh my God, spicy, very nice, good stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, we will have a lot of different sauces. So we're excited. I mean, I'm like, for me is like I'm super excited. I mean, I can open anywhere in the state,
Mhm.
but just coming to Norwalk and East Norwalk, especially my home, I'm
Right.
very very excited. So
Yeah.
and then I saw
Yeah.
something compared to Trader Joe's. Yeah, well, Trader Joe's. Just to be honest, I mean, it's like I figure it's like one of those. It's a nice store, but it's all private label. Everything there is private label.
Mhm.
They do a very good job with their private label. Very very good job. So but they have a buying power. They're private equity, and and they do a good job. Their meats and produce, I mean, they're questionable, because they get sourced from somewhere different. I mean, they usually you see those recalls that you see on TV all the time.
Yes.
The majority of the time the recall, it's
Yeah.
Trader Joe's and Aldi's and Walmart. So
Yeah.
they get it low. Depends on where they get it, but we get our stuff local. So we usually very good about those things. I think we've never had a recall. Maybe one or two items had recalled, but we're very back when the romaine lettuce back a couple years ago. But that was nationwide. So
Yeah, that was a big one. And I think the follow up to that is, can you compare size wise to the Trader Joe's in Westport? I think that's what she was asking.
oh, the size.
So
Okay, the size wise is Trader. I think we're about the same size. Yeah, because Trader Joe's like that type of format. So we're about the same size as the Trader Joe's. Maybe a little bit bigger. But I think we're there. I mean, I haven't been there in the one in Westport, right, or Darien.
Yeah, there's two. Yep.
Okay, I haven't been.
Right.
I went to the one in Darien, and that's the one I know. But the one in Westport, I haven't been in that Trader Joe. Oh yeah, oh yes, I have been in the Trader Joe. That's over by the Big Y, where the Amazon used to be. Yeah, but I haven't been inside of it. No. But yeah, I mean,
Okay,
yeah, ours is a little bit bigger, a little bit bigger. I don't know how much. I have to go back. Maybe I'll swing by tomorrow and take a look at them.
I have one last question. Are you planning on keeping the mailbox that's there in front of Rite Aid right now for mail
Another
picked
good
up?
question. Yeah.
Yeah, I found it weird that that's there, but yeah, I mean, I don't see you know, I do plan on keeping the mailbox. I also have another concept, which is the Amazon Go lockers. I have it in my stores. They're pretty neat. Let me tell you, because sometimes let's be honest, sometimes there's a lot of porch pirates. I've got my stuff stolen from Amazon. They leave it on the front door. People steal them, packages. So I made a deal with Amazon that they deliver these lockers, that they put them inside my stores, and people can pick up the items in the store, which is pretty cool.
Are you
Um,
going to have that for East Avenue?
I'm looking to see if the footprint will allow me to once I
Okay.
finalize my plans, because
Gotcha.
it's a locker. I think it's about 2 feet wide and about maybe 8 to 10 feet long. I mean, you put them like usually in my other stores. I have them right in the front, like in the
Yeah, I
front
think
area.
Whole Foods are one of them. Is it Whole Foods? I get them confused. But
Yeah,
yeah, they have
yeah,
that system there.
like Whole
Yeah.
Foods. Yep, people
Yeah.
just put the address. They have cool names. They put philosophy. Ours is called
Yeah.
philosophy. So they have cool names. You put them there. People pick up their packages at the store.
Yeah. Right.
So
Yeah. Yeah. Because one time our Rite Aid, you may remember, or this may be before your time, but our Rite Aid was also our post office substation. So you could
Oh,
go in
okay.
there and do postal stuff and mailing and stuff, but we know, under a grocery format, something like that won't work. Speaking of the outside and inside, though, another question too, because we actually got Rite Aid to kind of force them to have their bottle returns inside the store, because we were concerned that it was out back and in the dark, and um, again, having issues with pests and rodents and stuff. Are you required to have bottle and can returns just by virtue of selling them? And where would you
I believe
locate those?
I believe we are. And you know what? That's an excellent point that we're gonna
Okay.
start looking into as far as the design,
Okay.
because we haven't allocated any space inside the
Right.
store for bottle returns.
Gotcha.
But we
Okay.
do know that Evipco, which is our bottle return company, they do sell these really new machines, which is really cool. They don't take up a lot of space. They're new, they're modern, and they're like dual, so you could put like cans and bottles, and they'll
Right.
recycle those. So
Yeah.
we're gonna look into that. We're gonna look into to see how that would because that's a very good point. I mean, you know what? That's something that's a very, very good point. Bottle return.
Yeah, and I know planning and zoning had as many concerns about that when Rite Aid was doing it as we did. So just to kind of tip you off that would, that could become an issue.
Okay. All right. I'll make sure I talk to my designer, and then when we have the meeting. So what is the? 'Cause, I mean, what would be the rodent problem? Right? Is that what it?
Yeah, and also, for people that would be, the things could be operational all night, and then, people have to take tickets and go in the store. Also, again, not that we're an unsafe neighborhood, but anything that has a proximity that's easy on, easy off to a highway is something that, we have to consider. And Rite Aid was going to have it in the back of the store, and it wasn't going to be really real, well lit. And so in the end, they decided to put it in, and they had it in the back of the store on the opposite corner of the pharmacy, and it worked out well. So
Okay, we may look into doing something because I do have the original. I do have the floor plan. I'll look into that. You know what? That's a very good point that you guys made. Very good point.
Yeah, we had another question too. Will you sell stamps like at the registers, or
Yes.
that
Yeah,
would
we
be
will.
very helpful?
Yeah, I was also looking into having a UPS access point,
Mhm.
but yeah, we got to figure out if we'll have enough space in the customer service
All right.
area to have that. Because I know sometimes it gets a little bit intensive with with the UPS packages and things like that.
Yeah,
We want to make
yeah.
sure that, but we will have stamps. We will be
good.
sending stamps.
Good. Okay, I think we've come to the end of the questions and everything, and it's getting a little bit late. And just again, very, very grateful
Thank you.
for you taking the time. And like I said, 99% of the people who we've heard from are very, very excited that it's a market, and very excited that it is your family.
Thank
And
you.
looking forward to you guys getting started and working with us. And if you're bouncing around ideas and you're just thinking like, what would the neighborhood think, feel free to reach out to us too.
I
And
really
we'll give
appreciate
you
that.
some honest feedback. We'll tell you the good, the bad, and the ugly. That's how
No,
we
and I
are.
like,
So
and that's how I prefer because like again, it makes it a lot easier for me to actually get a plan together if I know what the community is looking for. So I kind of
Right.
have a good
Yeah.
idea, but there's always one. You see, like the bottle return, that
Right.
that was key for me because now I'm gonna go back and actually
Right.
wait a minute. We account for a bottle redemption center? So
Right.
and those are things that and the rodent situation. I didn't think
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah.
Because I mean, we always keep our, obviously with the rodents and things like that. But those are key things that I need to make sure that we incorporate in everything that we're doing, just to make sure that we, we're all good. We're good with
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. And the renderings that we shared too on the outside, I think everything is very tasteful and nothing is gaudy, and there's no
Yeah.
flashing lights, and there's no
Yeah.
I think it's going to be really really nice. And for whatever you have to comply with for the city for the actual design, the city will work with you. I know that as well too. So they'll that staff there will work with you so that you know what all your options are. And then,
Exactly. And I'm very I'm very straightforward. Like I don't for example, if everything around is like white and gray, then me putting an orange building.
Right.
Listen, I mean,
Yeah.
you kind of sometimes you got to use common sense with some of these things. And it's plus it's the entrance to East Avenue. I mean,
Right.
people get off the egg. That's the first thing you see, and you don't want to see an
Exactly.
ugly
Yeah.
building like, oh
Right.
my God, awful. You don't want to
Yeah.
see any of that stuff. So it's like
Right.
we're very sensitive to that. Also, I mean, we live in a neighborhood, and I don't want to, I don't want people to walk in, and then imagine somebody goes visit my house and did you see that ugly
Yeah.
building on Ice Avenue? Yeah, it's my store. You know, it's kind of like, you know,
the
we want to do
eyesore.
something
Yep.
nice with nice glass front and nice lighting. It looks pretty, it looks cosmetically beautiful, not some
Yeah.
ugly building that is just like, oh my God, you know,
Yeah.
like, you know.
Exactly. The gateway to our community here.
Yeah, I mean, we have enough issues with the railroad. I mean, that's another situation, trying to get through that thing every night. But imagine, you know, having an ugly building there, and you know, so.
Yeah.
But thank you guys again for your
Okay.
time. I really appreciate it, and thank you for being
so
so
much.
open.
You can hop on and stay on with us if you want. I normally don't close the meeting in case people have some other questions, or they want me
Thank
to
you.
address anything else on the agenda that we just kind of flew by.
Thank you, Diane.
I know
Thank
you're
you, guys.
busy, so if you want to hop off, you can hop off, and you and I will be in touch.
Yes,
And,
we will.
Yep, and as you progress through the city, they'll be in touch with me as well.
Thank you.
And
Thank
if
you.
you
I
need
really
to meet
appreciate
in
it.
person, we can do that too, to kind of hash stuff out and make sure we move this along. Keep this
Of course,
one
you
going.
know, I really appreciate everybody on the call. Thank you guys. You guys
Thank
hold
you.
my email's on there.
Yep.
Please, at any time, any questions, concern, you guys are looking for something, if you're looking for me to source anything, just be more than, you know, it's open. So just please just email me without, you know, without worries. Just do it. I mean, I'm open.
Thanks.
And I'm willing to work. So thank you guys so much. God bless.
Thank
And
you.
take care.
Thank you so much. Have a great evening.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Bye, guys.
Okay.
Bye, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye, Anthony. Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay. Thanks, Charles. I'm not sure who's still on because I know it's getting a late hour, but I will. If there's anything on the agenda that I just kind of pass over, that if you want to raise your hand, if you want a little bit more of an update on any particular item, or if there's a new item that you want to bring to our attention, any comments, suggestions, questions, and also we're always looking for. We love to have guest speakers. By the way, I think it's really good for the community. So if you have some ideas for guest speakers that you want to see, of course, our next meeting is going to be after the election. So all of that could be interesting, and maybe what we'll do is have to have some folks that come in that represent East Norwalk and talk about some quality of life issues. Okay, Charles, who do we have?
I'm not seeing any hands raised.
Okay. Okay, that may be it then. I will. It's about 10:09. What we can do is, if there's no questions, what we can do is we can stop the recording, and I will stay on until 9 p.m. for anybody who doesn't want to be recorded and wants to discuss something in a group, but I'm offline of the recording if that's okay with everyone. Next meeting is November 17th. And I think there were a couple of folks too. First of all, share with your neighbors. If they're not on our email list, please get them to sign up or have them send us their email so that they can keep up to date on that. We try to get stuff out weekly, but we're all volunteers and that doesn't always happen. But we do post to social media as well. I'm having some technical difficulties with our Instagram account right now. So that one is not updated, but you'll find us also on Facebook and, of course, nextdoor.com as well.